At famed Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, where today an era will end and a new chapter in super speedway racing will begin. The sun has risen more than 16,000 times over the track they call the Lady in Black. 34 drivers have survived the demons that were spirited away in her famed high banks. Surviving was the ultimate reward. To cross the line and snatch her most prestigious checkered flag wrote you into her history. She has thrilled millions over the years who saw the future of super speedway racing grow. They could only have guessed that it would be this one-of-a-kind racetrack that would carry the calling card of too tough to tame. Born in a soybean field in the sandhills of South Carolina, this lady saw many new stars rise.
It is Darrell Waltrip winning the Rebel 500.
They're going to get the checkered flag. Yes, they are. Harry Labonte gets the checkered flag.
Bill Elliott is going for immortality. Bill Elliott has won an additional $1 million in 1985.
And brought other rising stars crashing down to earth.
There's been a crash on the home stretch. A car upside down. It is Richard Petty.
The old lady of super speedways has bucked the best from her high banks. Your legend carried no status here.
Yarborough's trying to pass. They're in deep trouble. Cale Yarborough's over the wall.
It's a place that you can think you can go out and be running good and think you have the track conquered, and all of a sudden it just bites you. It's definitely a track too tough to tame.
One man has ignored her warning and survived here a record 10 times.
It's too tough to tame. And I said to myself, if anybody's going to tame it, I was going to tame it.
Through the decades, it became readily apparent that it was Dale Earnhardt's destiny not just to win at Darlington, but to dominate. Despite changing hairstyles, car colors, and makes, the results didn't vary. Usually when the day was done, it was Dale who had won. His 9 wins have placed him one shy of tying South Carolina's legendary Silver Fox, David Pearson. The desire and determination are there. You can see it in his eyes. After all, this is Darlington, and for Dale, it must be destiny. This could be the true test for Dale Earnhardt. By taking the Champions Provisional, he will start 43rd in today's field. Never in the storied history of the facility has a driver come from that far back to win. No one, not Ned, Fireball, Cale, or even David, could pull it off. Some say it's impossible, but don't tell that to a man who has dazzled us here for 2 decades.
We have seen fortunes turn quickly in the ultra-competitive NASCAR Winston Cup circuit, but none quicker than 2 weeks ago when the man who seemed bulletproof took a direct hit in the belly of his engine as the bottom dropped out 59 laps into the 500-miler. His last place finish dropped him from the NASCAR Winston Cup points lead to a distant 4th place, 72 points behind Dale Jarrett. He now finds himself at the unpredictable high banks of Darlington, where he has won the last 3 times. But can he once again tame the Lady in Black? First it was the Silver Fox, then it was the Man in Black. Now the Rainbow Warrior tries to continue to race into the record books and get his championship quest back on track.
Now, you might expect with the success that Jeff Gordon has experienced the last 3 races here at Darlington Raceway that they've got some kind of magical setup that makes the car gold every time. But in fact, his crew chief, Ray Evernham, has told me that each of the 3 wins have come with a different setup under the car, and that holds true for today. And they hope that this new setup carries them to victory lane for a record 4th time and also puts them in the history books as winning here the last race at Darlington before they move the front stretch to the back stretch.
This son has risen to championship form. Consistency has led to victory, putting him on top in the Winston Cup points chase. Now he focuses on one of his most bitter enemies, the Lady in Black. In 18 fights, he's never won, last time defeated by a crushing body blow.
I'm in the wall.
She put a wall between him and his $1 million, flattening Dale's Ford and Dale's dream. Now he's the points leader and pole sitter. Today, the rising sun hopes he does not become one of the Lady's falling stars. Same track, same car, same starting position, and the same driver. But it's not September, so it's a different story for Dale Jarrett. Today, he's not chasing the $1 million pot of gold. Instead, he's pursuing valuable points in his first ever win at Darlington. After he won the pole, I asked him if this track owed him one. His words said no, but his eyes said yes. Saturday, he said this is the toughest track this series races on. But any driver that tells you this isn't the toughest track they've ever raced at has never raced at Darlington.
ESPN Speed World welcomes you live on a beautiful Sunday afternoon to Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, and our coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup Transouth Financial 400. Entering this fifth event of the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup season, Dale Jarrett has a 29-point lead on defending series champ Terry Labonte. Jeff Gordon slipped to fourth after Atlanta's last place finish. The top five separated by 101 points. The second five led by Ricky Rudd. They're separated by only 40 markers, with Jeff Bodine and Ernie Irvin tied for 10th in the point standings. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Ned Jarrett and Benny Parsons, and we're set to go. Now, you have heard our pit reporters talk about the storylines here, Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, and Jeff Gordon, but when you get right down to it, the only storyline at Darlington is the track itself.
The track itself, Bob. It's been a big story all week that when we'll come back here in September that the racetrack will be flip-flop. The front stretch will be the back stretch and vice versa. It's not going to change the racetrack, though. It's still going to be the same old Darlington. It'll jump up and bite you at any time. You cannot let your concentration lapse for just one moment. If you do, you're going to be in the wall or into another car or in deep trouble.
You know, I walked through the garage here this morning, and I talked to car owners, mechanics, crew chiefs, and drivers, and I said, how's the car? How we doing? And I got the same reply. Well, this is Darlington. And that says it all, folks. This is Darlington. When you start the race, you really and truly don't know what you have until 40, 50 laps into the race, and then we'll find out who has the better car.
Well, it's going to be the largest starting field in the history of this race. 43 cars and drivers set to go in this 400-mile event. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole will be Dale Jarrett, second straight pole here at Darlington, alongside Ricky Craven, his 68th race. Bobby Labonte will start third. It's his fourth finish at Atlanta that's moved him up in the point standings. And Jeff Bodine, 4 Darlington poles here. Mark Martin starts fifth. He has 1 Darlington win. Jeff Burton, 2 top fives in 1997. Then Hud Strickland starts seventh. He was second in last September's Southern 500. Ernie Irvin drove his first race in the number 28 car here in September of '93. Sterling Marlin, the 95 winner of this event, starts ninth alongside Jeff Gordon, who's looking for a record 4 straight. Starting 11th will be Lake Speed. His only Winston Cup win was here in '88, and Terry Labonte, first Winston Cup win was here in 1980. Starting 13th will be Ken Schrader, and Gary Bradbury starting in 14th spot.
Back in row 8, we find Rusty Wallace. In row 8.
Back in row 8, we find Rusty Wallace in the Miller Ford, Ricky Rudd on the outside. Row 9 is Mike Wallace and Bill Elliott. Row 10, Jeremy Mayfield and Dave Marcus. Then comes Ted Musgrave and David Green. Morgan Shepherd, his great run in Atlanta, will start 23rd, and Greg Sachs beside him. Derek Cope and Jimmy Spencer make up the next row, and Michael Waltrip and Kyle Teddy, 27th and 28th.
Then starting in 29th position will be Phil Parsons, who is substituting for Joe Nemechek. Kenny Wallace will start in 30th position. Back in the 16th row, we have Brett Bodine and Chad Little. John Andretti and Mike Skinner will go from the next row. Starting in the 18th row, Robert Presley and Johnny Benson. 37th starter is Bobby Hillen, and the pole sitter from Atlanta, Robbie Gordon, who was the slowest qualifier to get in the field. These next drivers got in on provisionals, Bobby Hamilton and Ward Burton. Also, Darrell Waltrip and Rick Mast, and choosing a champion's provisional to get into the field, Dale Earnhardt. He'll start in 43rd spot. There were 3 drivers who failed to make the field here this weekend: Dick Trickle, Billy Standridge, and Steve Grissom. Now the manufacturer's points are led by Ford with 30 markers. They have 21 cars in today's field. Chevrolet is 2 points behind in the championship. They have 14 representatives, and there are 8 Pontiacs in the field. They have accumulated 18 points in the Manufacturers Championship in 1997. When we come back, we'll be back for the green flag and the end of an era here at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. Stay with us.